What is good, my dudes? It's your boy Ledge here, coming at you with another career simulation. Today we got no one else but the man from Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa. That's a mouthful. Tua Tagovailoa. That's how you say it. Drafted number 5, I believe, by the Miami. Not number 5. Was it number 5? See, I swear I did this before this video. Tua Tagovailoa went number 5. Yeah, I was correct. To the Miami Dolphins in this year's draft. We got the face scans from the Flashback franchise Discord. We got it all. Hidden dev trait, 6'1", 224 rookie out of Alabama. Strong arm quarterback. That player model is beautiful. Tua looks exactly like him. Ratings wise, 80 speed, 91 throw power, 86 deep, 84 medium, and 87 short. Going to be a stud for the Dolphins this year. It's time to simulate his rookie year. In Tua's rookie year, he passed for 3,600 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. Not a very good ratio at all. That's a heck of a lot of picks. Probably in real life, we don't even know if he's going to play this year or what's going to go on. Tua also rushed for 250 yards, no touchdowns. So year one, we can see how he stacked up against the other rookies for Rookie of the Year. Voting, he had one of the worst passer ratings in the NFL. So yeah, Cam Newton for the Patriots, jeez. AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year, Justin Herbert. Tua was third behind Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. KJ Hamler after him. Definitely not the best year. Pretty good for passing yards, about halfway mark. Below average in touchdowns, and one of the worst in passer rating. So hopefully Tua can have a great year number 2. Year number 2 for Tua was definitely a weird one. I didn't look to see if he was still hurt, and he's not still hurt, but he does have a superstar development, 79 overall through 2 years, 2,200 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Definitely not horrible for 11 games, but the Dolphins also did bring in Jacoby Brissett to back up Tua. I'm not really sure what happened to him. Running wise, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins also brought in Will Fuller, as I saw. So a nice weapon for Tua. Compared to last year, he had a better passer rating, but you really can't compare them because he didn't even play the full season. So year number 2, definitely a bump in the road for Tua, but I believe Tua has the chance to be a Pro Bowl type player. So year number 3, let's get into it. Year number 3, Tua did have a major improvement. He played all 16 games, took 19 sacks, and had a way better touchdown to interception ratio. 3,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. I really think that Tua can still be better. The interceptions are pretty ridiculous. Last year was his only year under 10, but he has maintained around an 80 passer rating for his career so far. If we go ahead and check out his rushing stats, 250 and a touchdown for this year. He's pretty much maintained around that same for his whole entire career so far. Hopefully year number 4, Tua can make the Pro Bowl, something like that. As you see, no awards for him throughout his career. Contract, he has 1 year left, so who knows, the Dolphins might not even bring him back. Let's hop into year number 4 and find out. Year number 4, Tua Tagovailoa went off. 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Tua made the Pro Bowl, had a 99.7 passer rating. Great year for Tua. Most yards per game, most yards per attempt for his career. Rushing wise, Tua 267 yards, which is a career high, and a tied career high for rushing touchdowns. Amazing year for Tua. Award-wise, Offensive Player of the Week in Week 1 and in Week 11, and he made the Pro Bowl. Let's go ahead and check out how he compared to other quarterbacks in the yearly awards. Trevor Lawrence won MVP, Tua number 7 in the MVP race. AFC-wise, Offensive Player of the Year, Tua number 4. Best quarterback, Tua was the best quarterback in the AFC, and on top of that, he led the Miami Dolphins to a AFC East crown. So I will tell you guys if they win the Super Bowl, because that obviously will add to Tua's legacy. Let's hop in to year number 5. Year number 5 for Tua Tagovailoa, 3,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions with a 65% completion rate. He led the Dolphins to the playoffs once again and is now at an 84 overall. If we go ahead and check out his stats for this year, he had an 87 overall passing, 87.9 passer rating, and 3,700 yards again, 24 passing touchdowns, which is his second most, and 13 interceptions. Taking a look at his rushing numbers, 291 yards and a touchdown. He keeps progressing every single year when it comes to rushing. So, nice dual threat that the Dolphins have. No Super Bowl last year, no Pro Bowl this year. We can go ahead and look at his awards. He was the 2023 best quarterback and the league leader in passer rating. And, of course, he had his Pro Bowl appearance last year. So, let's go ahead and check out the awards to see how he stacked up against some quarterbacks. He was not in the MVP race, so I doubt he was here. Up 10 for Offensive Player of the Year voting, and best quarterback, he was number 6. Let's hop into year number 6. Year number 6 for Tua was not a good one at all. He only played 10 games, 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 picks. Not a good year. And look what it was because of. The dislocated hip again. That's kind of weird that it's in the game. Because that happened in real life. He had hip problems. So, dislocated hip for Tua. 84 overall. Obviously no Pro Bowl this year. He's 28 years old. This was his 6th year. Obviously, comparing the stats, this year was not a good year. He did have a positive ratio from touchdowns to picks, but just, again, not a good year. Hopefully, year 7, Tua can bounce back. Year number 7 for Tua, 3,700 yards, almost 38 actually, 26 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. Played all 16 games. Rushing wise, Tua 494 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's really emerged as a rushing quarterback. 28 years old, obviously still in his prime for year number 7. Big bounce back year from last year after his hip injury. Year 8, I'm thinking Tua's going to have a nice breakout year. This was by far his best year rushing, which you wouldn't expect after he came back from that hip injury. But let's see how he stacked up against everyone else in the yearly awards. Josh Allen won MVP. Tua at number 7. AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Tua number 6. Best quarterback. Tua at number 7. So no Pro Bowl, obviously, for Tua this year. But he did have an amazing bounce back year. Let's hop in to year number 8. And in year number 7, the 8-7-1 Dolphins, led by Tua Tagovailoa, won Super Bowl 61. Tua got, obviously, the Offensive Player of the Week, 287 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns in the Super Bowl. great game by Tua. We definitely got some upgrades. Not Tua, though, so we're not going to upgrade anybody. But that is really going to help Tua's legacy, winning his first Super Bowl in year number 7. Another insanely productive year for Tua Tagovailoa in year 8. Almost 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. The pick numbers, pretty high. Pretty much completed 70% of his passes. He has a skill point upgrade, so we will just do it in the strong arm. 87 overall in year 8. I believe Tua is 29. I was about to say 30, so he's right in the middle of his prime. He made his second Pro Bowl this year. Terrific job by Tua. If we just go ahead and see how it stacks up, this was his most yardage passing season, and tied for second for touchdowns, and his second most interceptions. So obviously he's throwing the ball a good amount. So rushing wise, 229 yards. Definitely a big drop off from last year, but we don't want him running around like he did last year. 2 touchdowns again. Pretty sneaky dangerous in the run game. Made his second Pro Bowl. I can see Tua making his way into the Hall of Fame if he gets it into a couple more Pro Bowls. Yearly awards. LJ with the MVP. Tua at... Oh, that's his brother. That isn't Tua. Okay. Tua not even in the top 10 for MVP. AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Tua at number 10. And best quarterback, Tua was number 2. So we are going to go ahead and get into season number 9. For the first time in Tua's career, he passed for 4,000 yards, reaching that mark just 50 over, 30 touchdowns and 9 picks. By far his best year. 87 overall. He's had to make the Pro Bowl this year. 3rd Pro Bowl of his career. I am smelling Hall of Fame Tua Tagovailoa. If we compare that, by far his best year. 30 touchdowns, tying for number 1. 9 picks. And a full season, I believe, when he's played all 16 games, I believe that's his lowest interception numbers, which is insane. Rushing, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's getting up there in age. Tua is 30, I believe. Yeah, he's 30. So the rushing numbers are definitely going to be decreasing. If we head into the yearly awards, Lamar Jackson won MVP again. Jalen Hurts at number 2. Tua at 6. Tua is really getting overshadowed by these other quarterbacks. 3rd in Offensive Player of the Year voting. And quarterback, Tua did win Best Quarterback, so that is his second best quarterback of his career. 102.2 passer rating, which was 4th in the NFL. The Dolphins did win the AFC East again, so I will tell you guys if they win the Super Bowl. Another insane year for Tua. 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 6 picks. I mean, this dude is just lighting the league up. No Pro Bowl this year. 86 overall. He's regressing a little bit. 31 years old in his 10th year for the Miami Dolphins. It was a pretty average year for Tua. But again, like, this isn't an average year for any old NFL starter. So he had a really good passer rating. Touchdowns were down a little bit. And you really can't beat last year's season, obviously. So rushing numbers probably staying around the same, 260 and a touchdown. He's maintained that range for pretty much his whole career. And the Dolphins are in the playoffs again. They won the AFC East again. I will tell you if they won the Super Bowl next year. Yards, 27 touchdowns and 12 picks for the veteran. Rushing wise, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's more rushing touchdowns than he's ever had in his whole entire career. And he's back up to an 87 overall. He made his 4th Pro Bowl. Tua is an absolute monster. And he just keeps getting better with age. This was his best season yet for passing yards. And his second best all time for touchdowns, and he really kept the interceptions low too. So let's go ahead and see how he stacked up against everyone else. 2nd in passing yards, 6th in passing touchdowns, 8th in passer rating. The yearly awards, Justin Fields won MVP, Tua at number 6. I just don't think that he's ever going to get that MVP award. Number 4 for Offensive Player of the Year voting, and he was the 2nd best quarterback in the league. 4,600 legacy score. I can definitely see him making the Hall of Fame. I will obviously tell you guys if they win the Super Bowl because, again, Tua led them to the playoffs. Tua again led the Dolphins to another AFC East crown. The dude is just a winner. I don't want to compare him to the GOAT, but I'm feeling Tom Brady and the Patriots level dominance for Tua. He's been doing this for over 5 years, so I can kind of see where those comparisons can be made. 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He just hasn't had an off year for a while. 33 years old. The dude is just going off. Compared to last year was definitely his best year, and he didn't have that year, but it's okay because the Dolphins are winning, and he found another resurgence in his rushing, and these numbers are just looking really, really solid, these rushing numbers for Tua, because he's really not that fast. He only has like 80 speed, plus he's 30-something years old. I think he's 33 years old, so crazy year for Tua. I didn't even see if he made the Pro Bowl. This would be number 5, I believe. 5th Pro Bowl for Tua. Pro Bowl number 5 for Mr. Tagovailoa. Insane year. 10th in passing yards, 9th in touchdowns. Probably not deserving of that Pro Bowl, if we're being honest, but he won, so really can't take anything away from him. Nothing with the MVP voting. He was 5th in Offensive Player of the Year voting and 2nd best quarterback in the NFL. So we're going to go ahead, simulate the playoffs like we always do, and I will tell you if they win the Super Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa in his 13th season led the Miami Dolphins to a 14-2 record, 3,700 yards, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 254 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the run game. This dude just doesn't age. 34 years old, and he's still balling out like he's in his 20s. I mean, this has to be Pro Bowl number 6, especially since of the success he brought his team. 6th Pro Bowl for Tua. Let's go ahead and just check out this dude's awards over his career, because he has absolutely dominated the NFL. 6 Pro Bowls, 2-time leader in passing rating, and 2-time best quarterback winner. I know I haven't mentioned his contract, but he does have 2 years remaining. He's pretty much just gotten max deals every single time, so it really wasn't even worth mentioning because I don't know why the Dolphins would give up on their franchise guy. 17th in passing yards, 14th in passing touchdowns, so obviously not like what I would say Pro Bowl numbers compared to everyone else, just because it's definitely just because of his success. He was 3rd in voting in Offensive Player of the Year, and best quarterback, he was number 4. So maybe not deserving of the Pro Bowl nod, but 100% because of his team's success. Tua and the Miami Dolphins have won their 2nd Super Bowl together, and this just solidifies the already insane career that he's had. 2-1 in the Super Bowl, which is insane. I'm guessing he won he didn't win the Offensive Player of the game. His receiver did. 6 receptions, 81 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So definitely slighted to a little bit there. Let's hop into season 14. Season number 14 for Tua, 24 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. 84 overall, 36 years old. This was his 14th year. Again, no Pro Bowl this year. And the Dolphins did go 7-9. So after the Super Bowl win last year, that could have been Tua's last one. So I guess we will find out. But Tua's stayed pretty consistent in the past 4 years with interceptions and around the same range with touchdowns. He's been a pretty good quarterback, really consistent throughout his whole entire career. And I was looking at the legacy leaderboard, and he is pretty far down for how much success that he's had. It's just because everyone else has been so good. This year rushing, one of his best years, 316 yards and a touchdown. He's always stayed really consistent on the ground. I actually think, this was his second best year in rushing, which is a surprise because he's 36 years old. So I guess what we will do now is look at his contract, because we're definitely approaching the end of his career. I mean, he's still an 84 overall, but he does have 2 years left. So I guess we're going to hop into season 15. 15 was a rough year for the Dolphins, but exactly the opposite from Tua. 4,100 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. The touchdown numbers definitely could be a little better, but for Tua's 15th year, holy crap, he had a great year. 223 yards on the ground. He hasn't skipped a beat in the run game, and the Dolphins really didn't even have an 1,000-yard rusher this year. Tua probably made the Pro Bowl this year. Just an insane year at 37 years old. No Pro Bowl. Dang. He didn't make the Pro Bowl this year. He had an insane year, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl. That's insane. 4,100 yards this was his second best year. Probably because of the touchdowns were down. He didn't throw for that many touchdowns, but still, he threw for a crap ton of yards. Let's see how that compares to everyone else. Trevor Lawrence, Tony Stuber, Zach Lloyd, Connor Hutton threw for more. And okay, there we go. Trevor Lawrence 32 and 10, and Hutton had 33 and 10. So that's why Tua didn't make the Pro Bowl this year. Season 15 was great. It kind of looked like, as of last year, Tua might have been regressing, but he's back up. Let's get into season number 16. This dude just doesn't stop. He's gotten so much better as he's gotten older. 81 overall, 38 years old. We got to get a Pro Bowl this year. No Pro Bowl. So I guess since every year that Tua played really well and his team played well, because the Dolphins did go 7-9 this year, so not very good team success for Tua. But again, these yards are just insane. This in 2035 was his best year, yards wise. 4,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's really gotten his, if we look at his yearly numbers, he's gotten his pick numbers down pretty well the past couple years. He had 8 last year, and he had 10 this year. But I'm guessing the reason he didn't make the Pro Bowl is because of team success. If we go ahead and check out his rushing numbers, 246 yards, 0 touchdowns. So he's stayed consistent in the run game as well. Let's go check out how he compared to everyone else, because he didn't make the Pro Bowl this year. So, we just got to go back here. So, Tua compared to other NFL quarterbacks, I think it said he was 4th in passing. 4th in passing. And Trevor Lawrence threw for 38 touchdowns. Holy crap. So that must be why Tua didn't make the Pro Bowl. Let's hop into year number 17, where Tua is still going strong. Tua did have a little bit of a down year. 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, 7 picks. The pick numbers obviously are down, but the yards went down, and so did the touchdowns. So the Tua actually did lead the Dolphins to a 10-6 record, winning them the AFC East. So definitely no Pro Bowl for Tua this year, just because numbers were down. Still an 81 overall, 38 years old. That is insane. What a year, what a career for Tua. He's maintained playing at such a high level as he's gotten older. 370 yards rushing at 38 years old and 2 touchdowns. He just doesn't quit. He does not quit. I will tell you guys, obviously, if the Dolphins win the Super Bowl. Let's just make sure no Pro Bowl. Oh, he did make the Pro Bowl. He made his 7th Pro Bowl. It just seems like because he obviously was not very good when it came to stats this year, but he made the Pro Bowl because the Dolphins had a great record. Contract-wise, let's see where we're at. 2 years left, so he's going to be playing until he's 40, unless he retires early. Let's see. I want to see what his speed stats are at now, because that's insane that he's this old. He still has 80 speed, 84 acceleration, and 83 agility. His carrying stats are pretty low. One thing that we've never checked is his fumble numbers. He fumbled the ball 0 times this year, but it's interesting to see. We've never really looked that deep. He has fumbled the ball twice in his career. That is ridiculous. So obviously Tua is the definition of a dual threat quarterback, considering that he's just absolutely lit up the run game and in the pass game, obviously, too. So let's hop into year number 17. I will obviously tell you guys if the Dolphins won the Super Bowl. In year number 17, Tua only played 11 games, 2,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. But the Miami Dolphins did make the playoffs. They won the the AFC East. Definitely a quarterback by committee this year. Sewell and Beck came in for Tua and went off. Sewell, 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's played for 14 years too, so he's pretty much been, I don't know how long he's been on the team actually, so we're just going to say he's been Tua's backup for a while. Definitely one of these dudes is going to be the successor for Tua. One of his worst years in a while, but he's 39 years old, 78 overall, still playing well. This was his first just big drop-off year. Rushing-wise, 173 and a touchdown. So, still playing at a high level in the run game. Dolphins did make the playoffs somehow. Great quarterback help. I'll tell you if they won the Super Bowl. So, as you guys can see, Tua is now a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 18th season in the NFL. 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions for 3,600 yards, and he led the not very talented Jaguars to the playoffs. Tua is by far an all-time great. There's no question about that. 76 overall, 40 years old, in his 18th year, still putting up great numbers. 3,600 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Rushing-wise, who knows what we could expect from him this year. 353 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's still doing it at 40 years old. Contract-wise, he signed a 2-year deal, so that means we're going to get to see Tua again if he decides not to retire. I will tell you guys if the Jacksonville Jaguars win the Super Bowl. Jaguars are a 75 overall team, and they're in the Super Bowl against the Los Angeles Rams. Both are 9-7, and I did realize I made a mistake, and I didn't show it because when I was editing this video, I saw that Tua actually did win 3 Super Bowls, so this could be number 4. This could be his moment to put the team on his back. He's carried the Jaguars to the playoffs. They beat the 14-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see what happens. Come on, Tua. Number 4. 4-0 in Super Bowls. And they lost to the Rams 30-7. So that means Tua is unfortunately 3-1 in Super Bowls. But that would be his 4th conference championship, 4th AFC championship. Let's simulate the next season. The Jaguars did go 8-8, but Tua in his 20th season, 4,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. The pick numbers pretty inflated. 42 years old. Didn't make his 8th Pro Bowl, but it doesn't matter because Tua is still playing at such a high level. At such an old age, he's 42 years old in his 20th year, and he is still balling out. 4,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 15 picks. This very well could be his last year. So let's just appreciate the greatness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons over 4,000 passing yards, and 2 years pretty freaking close. If we check out touchdown numbers, 3 seasons over 30 touchdowns, and pick numbers, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 and under interception seasons. Rushing wise, this year, we didn't even look at that yet. 326 yards and 2 touchdowns at 42 years old. That is ridiculous. His best season was 494 yards. And he rushed for 300 yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Tua is an amazing player. If he isn't in the Hall of Fame, I don't know who should be in the Hall of Fame, because Tua has had an amazing career. Let's simulate season 21. Unfortunately, Tua did not come back for his 21st year, but here we are in the Hall of Fame section. 12,888 legacy score, 3 Super Bowls, 4 conference championships, 11 yearly awards. Tua was an insane player. He made 7 Pro Bowls and got a well-deserved spot in the Hall of Fame. I was looking just a second ago at some NFL records. Tua in passing yards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th all-time, just behind Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, Trevor Lawrence, and Drew Brees. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to be catching him anytime soon, because all of these other players are retired. So 5th all-time passing yards, and in passing touchdowns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. 8th all-time in passing touchdowns, 5th all-time passing yards. Tua has become an all-time great quarterback. He turned the Dolphins into a dynasty, and he just carried the Jaguars on his back to a Super Bowl, even though they lost. So what a career sim. Definitely my best yet so far. Make sure you guys tell me who to do next in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more career sims. This has been your boy Leggy, and I'm out.